this game. He might not play this.
No, he might not play.
So
they're kind of in disarray.
I'm expecting a big game from Colin Kaepernick. They got to go back to the just take it and run the ball for crying out loud. He's the best player out there, bar none. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they got to do something. They're a better team than their 1-2 record shows.
But I'd be leery about starting many 49ers.
Yeah, it's
this week.
Alden Smith's now out. He's seeking treatment. So
their defense is going to be.
They take a huge hit there. I mean,
they're going to be down, and they've struggled to begin with.
You say one guy in defense, not really that big of a deal. The guy leads since I don't know what the stat was I was looking at.
The one guy
leads the league in
what he does helps or hurts other players.
Yeah,
and that presence not being there is going to hurt.
Let's see, Sam Bradford and Richardson may play in this game. I think he probably will. He started him last week. He got, I think was it like after one play, and he was pretty much out. Got stepped on, so I think he'll probably be playing in this game. So look for him. It could be also P getting some work and possibly Cunningham as well. Ben Cunningham. They might take a look at him a little bit. But against the 49ers defense, I mean, Saints are at home. They're St. Louis is at home. The Rams are at home, but I think you really trust any of the guys, even with Alden Smith out. You know, if they do get down, but you can't really say if they are because it is the San Francisco 49ers. I think they scored 10 points total in the last 2 weeks.
They're due to do some good things. I just don't think it's going to happen this week.
I don't see how you can have a great week one and then just
short week also.
Just lose that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I think Kaepernick can start Bolden, I guess. If you wanted to, the Rams they're 26 against the pass, and Gore their leading rusher there. He should have a decent game, but again, nothing. It's a Thursday night game, it's a short week, so don't expect a lot out of that one. They say tentatively the Thursday night games teams don't score as much because I don't have as much time to game plan, I guess.
That and
passing and rushing yards are down on Thursday night games,
and guys are beat up.
Yeah, there's that also. Let's move into the Sunday noon games. The Baltimore Ravens are at the Buffalo Bills. Let's see. C.J. Spiller, they thought it originally was a knee injury, but it actually ended up being his quad. He should go. I own both Spiller and Fred Jackson. I'm just kind of like wishing that you kind of just like you don't want to hope injury on anybody, but it's like just make him out or in, because then you can just start one guy and you know he's just going to get the majority of the carries. So,
well, in your league, how long do you have up until game time to make your...
Like 5 minutes. I mean, you have enough time, and you'll find out, I guess, but I think he will play. So you're going to have a share there. I mean, then you could just flex one of the guys in if you really wanted to, if you needed to do that. But it's tough when you have two good running backs getting, similar amount of carries there. Also for Buffalo, Stevie Johnson... Yeah, minor hamstring. He should be playing. For the Baltimore Ravens, they look a little beat up. Ray Rice, they say he might play. I
doubt it.
I don't think so either. He's questionable.
And if he does, I don't think is going to be real effective.
Yeah, I would. If you go on Ray Rice, I'd temper expectations on that. And if you have Bernard Pierce, he'd probably be another good start. Once again against Buffalo, the Bills are 14th against the run, and you can actually throw on Buffalo. So. That might be a good idea for Joe Flacco. He might get some yards. They're 28th, I think. Bills are 28th against the pass, so might have a decent game from Joe Flacco. I know they do like to run, but I can see the Ravens getting up early in this game. The Bills' secondary is not that great. Their offense is
okay,
decent. Yeah. So, all right, for the Battle of Ohio. I remember one year, and I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. There was so much orange out there, and the Cleveland. They wore these hideous outfits. They looked like road cones out there. They were like all in orange, like orange shirt, orange pants. It was bizarre looking. And then you had Cincinnati with their orange stripes as well. The Cincinnati Bengals are at the Cleveland Browns. Another start possibly for Brian Hoyer. Brandon Whedon's still going to be out with his.
And Hoyer wasn't bad last week.
He looked pretty good. And granted, it was against Minnesota, who has like one of the worst secondaries. They lost 2 guys in that game too. So Hoyer looked really good. He did some bad things also. He had, I think he had, 3 interceptions, I believe. One wasn't, I don't think it was his fault. It just got tipped up, and, they caught it. And
he's not a guy that, if you have options, you're going to start. But
no, but you do have Aaron Rodgers on a bye, and you also have Cam Newton on a bye this week, Green Bay and Carolina. So if you have one of the, if you're a Rogers or a Newton owner, you might want to look at Hoyer as well. But Cincinnati, their defense is no joke. Very, very good. Overall, they're 11th against the pass and 16th against the run. So Willis McGahee looks like he's going to be the starter there. And you got to start Josh Gordon after last week's huge game from Josh Gordon. I think you got to start him. I think he's at least a top 20 wide.
Yeah, you got to run him out there and see what happens.
And he's playing. He's basically on audition because apparently Cleveland's still looking to shop him around. Detroit might be interested in him.
Well, if more wide receivers go down, there'll be a lot of teams interested in him.
Yeah, just being a Cleveland fan, it's like a fire sale on the Browns. Just for drafting.
You're not happy with all this.
No, they got to keep Gordon at least, for crying out loud. They did fine not having Trent Richardson in, but Trent Richardson did get his first touchdown, his very first carry. After that, really did nothing. But so we'll see what happens there. I like Cincinnati in this game. I think they have A.J. Green's just a monster. Of course, you're starting him. Joe Hayden will probably be on him. So if you do have A.J. Green, as good as he is, don't expect what he's been putting up the last 3 weeks. Joe Hayden is the real deal. And
it'll be a good matchup.
Not just saying I'm a Browns fan, but Joe Hayden's he's probably one of the top 5 cornerbacks. So I'm sure he'll be on him the whole game. Mohamed Sanu, he's looked very good. Their other wide receiver, I kind of like him a lot.
I think they're doing some good things there. I like this Bengals team.
And they also have tight end Jermaine Gresham to throw to. They have Giovanni. He doesn't like being called Gio. I just found out. Giovanni Bernard. He had 2 touchdowns, I believe, last week. So
if your name is Giovanni, you want to be called Giovanni.
Exactly. He does not like Gio. Do not call him. And do not call Doug Martin the muscle hamster. He does not like that. I don't care how small he is. I'm not going toe-to-toe with that guy. All right, let's go into the another game of 12 o'clock, the Bears versus Lions NFC North matchup. What do you like about these teams? What don't you like about these teams?
Well, I think with the Bears, if you have their defense.
You did well last week.
Yes, you did.
I was playing against them. That was another thing. It was salt on the wound. 2 touchdowns. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
And Cutler has been unlike Cutler. He hasn't made the mistake. Yeah, made the mistakes that he's made in the past. Brandon Marshall has done a good job.
I think his acting.
I think he's healthy.
I think Cutler's acting career has really helped him out. Did you watch the league at all?
No.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, you got to watch.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
You got to watch it. The league's all about fantasy football. It's a great show. Got to watch the league. He was on there last week. So.
No, I'm studying fantasy football to try to make my team better.
All right. Yeah, you got to start Marshall on this one. Lions, they do rank 18th. They're pretty good against the pass. They're really good against the run. But I see great things from Matt Forte this week. He's really turned things around. He was probably maybe a late second-round pick, mid-second.
Wasn't he a former Bear too?
Forte?
Yeah.
He still is. He's still with them.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the Lions.
Oh, no.
He's still there. Yeah, okay.
No, yeah, Matt Forte. So
you scared me. I was like, when did he go? Okay.
Great PPR play, so Matt Forte should continue to do well in this game. For some of these people we're not going to talk about. Calvin Johnson, of course, you're going to start him. I mean, you're like, what about Calvin Johnson? Of course you're starting Calvin.
He's breathing, you're starting him.
You're starting that guy. He's got a pulse. Even they wheel him out in a wheelchair, and he gets up and walks around a little bit, you're starting Calvin Johnson. The man's just a monster. That's one of the teams that was in talks with acquiring Gordon from Cleveland. Because the injury of Nate Burleson now, apparently
that's going to change things.
He was out getting pizzas, I guess. And he looked away, he got distracted, and it was a single car accident. Broke his radius and all the lower part of his arm, so he's going to be out for a while. And it's going to be a nice opening for what is his name? Bryce, not Bolin. I'm blanking on the name now. Ryan Broyles. He's going to be the starter, the second guy. Should have they're expecting a lot from him. Nate Burleson was doing well. Now Nate Burleson's out, so I think
with some of these injuries,
Ryan Broyles is going to be a good pickup. He's probably one of the big waiver wire pickups for this week.
There are going to be a lot of trades going on in the NFL with some of these injuries. I think there's going to be more than normal.
The problem with Ryan Broyles is that you just can't rely on him being healthy. He's got a lot of knee injuries, but as long as his knees are holding up and he's out there, he's going to be a great play down the road because people are just going to be blanketing Calvin Johnson. Not that they can really stop that, But
it's going to open up some other opportunities.
Stafford's looking at triple coverage on Johnson and looks over at Burrows, and he's open. I think they're going to go Ryan Burrows' way. He should be a nice pickup there for the Lions and for your fantasy team. All right, let's go over to the Giants can't possibly be this bad, are they?
Yes, they can.
It just doesn't seem that. They're 0-3. They can go 0-4, and I think they
Easily.
probably will.
They should.
They're going to Arrowhead Stadium.
They've lost. They're one of the oldest teams in the league. They have one of the oldest lines in the league, and maybe 2 linemen are going to be out from a line that has not played that well. Eli Manning has struggled because he hasn't had time. He's been inconsistent. They've had inconsistency in the running back position. Wide receivers haven't been healthy. It's been on the offense side. It's been a mess.
Yeah, you have to. They're key players. They're skilled players. I think.
Knicks.
There. But if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have time to get it down to Knicks. You don't have time to get it down to
And
Cruz.
Knicks has been hurt.
Yeah, he's been dinged up a little bit. But if you don't have time to get to your receivers downfield to catch a long ball, it's just not going to be happening. Andre Brown, he's still out, and he's going to be out for the whole time. It's going to be basically, Brandon Jacobs, a little bit of Darrell Scott. And then
they're going to break
Wilson.
out at some point in time, but not against the Chiefs' defense.
Yeah, Ruben Randall, he's, a lot is expected of him, but I don't think you can really start him unless you have some major wide receivers on bye in upcoming weeks. And for the Chiefs, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
It's not pretty.
Isn't that what Will Smith said?
It's not pretty, but second half, Jamal Charles takes over.
And they didn't really need to do too much else.
No, the Eagles were
lead, so
handing the game to him.
Giants ranked 20th against the run and 24th against the pass. They are just they're not playing good football.
Steady dose of Jamal Charles and short passes from Alex Smith.
To Avery.
Avery, not Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that one. All right. Let's go do do 2 more games here, though. The game that's going to be taking place in London. It's a noon game here, but I think it's actually, 8 hours ahead, 7 hours ahead?
I have no clue.
I believe it's 7, maybe 8. Anyways, I was only there briefly once. The Steelers are at the Vikings. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
They gave up a home game?
Turf. Oh, yeah. They had the Viking cheerleaders out getting pictures snapped in various places around London. So, Ben Roethlisberger, Andre Brown, you got to put him in now. I think they're actually he complained a little bit, and then he finally got fed the ball.
And he did well.
Got fed a lot. I don't know why they didn't go. I mean, I've had Andre Brown in the past, and he's always been good. I don't know why they were shying away from him. And granted, the line again not that strong for them to get downfield to make nice long passes. They kind of had to dump stuff off, but
You seeing a common theme here with a lot of the offenses?
if their line's not good, they're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said that all along. It's like in Denver, I think we talked about this before. They're like, how does Denver find all these great running backs? It's not the running backs.
It's the line.
It's the line. You have to have a line that's going to open holes. You have to have a line that can pass block and, keep your quarterback upright. Thank goodness Big Ben is big. Ooh, it's Big Ben at Big Ben. How many times do you think they'll say that?
Way too much.
Big Ben traveling to Big Ben on Sunday football. Yeah, that's Ben Roethlisberger would be a good start. Le'Veon Bell is finally going to get a little work for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They expected him not to come back for another week or after the bye, they said, and I think they have a bye in week 5, so they expect him to come back week 6. I don't know if he's just progressing, better than what they planned, or they're desperate. I think it's a little bit of both. But Le'Veon Bell, he should play. You're not starting any running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. Granted, the Vikings aren't the greatest. They're 29th against the pass. They're 19th against the run. So they're an all right run team. But until you know for sure how much you're going to get out of Le'Veon Bell, until you see him actually produce, I don't think you can start him. Of course, you could have the Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown effect and just kind of go crazy, and he's on your bench for 35
This game
points.
being played at Wembley Stadium?
I believe so. I think it's one of the only places you can really house that many people for the game. But it's amazing how many people. Do you think the NFL are just handing tickets out?
Probably.
Like at the beginning when the NFL was
They have
over
to
in
make it
London,
look good.
Like, hey, come and see a free game. Look at all the people that love the NFL over here.
They can't go over there
soccer.
and have a
Nobody will like soccer. Come on
half-empty
now.
stadium.
So it is kind of funny. Like you see people in the stands. They have they have like brand new, NFL attire on. It's like
They hand that out too. They tell them when to cheer.
Cheer for that. That ball went through the little the H thing. That's good. That's called a field goal. All right, for the Vikings, you're starting Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson have a huge game. The Steelers, they can't stop the run. Can't stop the run. Cannot stop the run.
So he may get 30 carries.
If they're smart, which I'm not saying. I never said the Vikings were the smartest team. They give AP the ball and just let him move up to his name of all day and just let him run all day. I'll just keep handing the ball. It won't be sexy to watch him unless he's busting out 80-yard runs for touchdowns, which he most likely will do. The Steelers are 28th against the run. They do have good pass defense. They're 5th against the pass. But you're not really expecting too much.
No, they're not.
From Christian Ponder.
Teams aren't passing much. They get in the lead against the Steelers, so they're really not passing a lot.
Yeah, they don't need to. Matt Castle might actually, if Ponder doesn't play with his ribs, Matt Castle might get a start. I'm sorry, I just wasted 8 seconds there talking about those. You're not starting any of those guys. So Adrian Peterson's pretty much the only guy you're starting for the Vikings. And I'd say start Sanders, Brown, Roethlisberger, and that's pretty much about it. Heath Miller, maybe.
If
he plays. Apparently, the Vikings like giving touchdowns up to the tight end. They gave 2 away to Bennett when they played Chicago, and gave 3 away to Cameron.
Well, what other tight ends may be who's on a bye week?
To Michael Finley, the concussed Michael Finley. So you're not really
and Olsen with the Panthers.
Yeah, if Miller's still available, you might want to pick him up and start him. All right, one more game. We'll take a little break here. The Arizona Cardinals are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The pirate ship game. It's my 7-year-old calls it. We call it the pirate ship game because they like to shoot the cannons off when they score. Haven't heard a lot of cannon blasts.
No, they shoot. They don't do it when they score. They do it when they get in the red zone.
Oh, they also do it when they score though. If they get a field goal, they hit 3, and then they do a touchdown, they get 6.
But the cannons start erupting when they get in the red zone.
I've noticed that. I'll have to look for that on Sunday.
It's a little known fact that I know.
How do you know this stuff?
I grew up in that area.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. When I get back there, my parents live 45 minutes from Tampa.
I was gonna say if you live right by the stadium, that would suck. Like if you had a night game, you're trying to get a little sleep. Stop the cannon fire out there.
The good thing is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't do well offensively, so not a lot of cannon firing going on.
Probably the big news for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're benching Josh Freeman. They thought maybe they might wait 1 week, but Mike Glennon, apparently this guy's got a really big arm.
Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
Former Virginia Tech quarterback?
Are you starting him?
No.
Why not?
I don't think anybody's going to pick him up unless he has a good week.
Look what Hoyer did for Cleveland.
Right, but probably nobody picked him up until this week, the week after.
Yeah. You can probably still pick him up, I guess, if you want to.
But the way the Bucs offense is, would you do that?
Depends on what the options are out there. I mean, if you're desperate,
if you have no options and you're desperate.
If you had Rodgers and you had nobody else, you had Cam Newton, why not? Give it a go. Guy's got a big arm. He's got Vincent Jackson.
I wouldn't do it, but somebody will.
Yeah, somebody will probably do it. So that's your starter out there, Mike Glennon for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Vincent Jackson, he's questionable with ribs. I think he'll probably play. The dude's pretty tough, though.
He'll play, but can they get him the ball?
Yeah.
And how much are they going to throw with a new quarterback?
Yeah, Doug Martin. You might see a lot of Doug Martin in this game. The Arizona Cardinals are ranked 23rd against the run, so I think a big dose of Doug Martin is probably what you're going to see.
I think we're going to see a big dose of running backs having good weeks with some of the poor rushing defenses. There's some matchups where you can see some running back. We may see a 150, 160-yard game from a running back.
I like Larry Fitzgerald, but in this game, I don't know. He didn't really produce that much. He's pretty much all the way back from a hamstring, but you never know when that thing's going to flare up. But
they just have trouble getting him the ball.
Yeah, that kind of boggles my mind. You think Carson Palmer would be a little more set up than that to handle that? But we'll take a little break here. We're at the 810 zone in Leawood, Kansas. Check us out, 810WHBTV.com. Is that right, Jim? I never know if I want to mix up the 810. So, all right, we'll be back in a moment.
were cracking me up about Eli Manning. I dropped him this week. I am sick
All right, we're
of
back.
him.
Are we back? My mic's not back. Hello. There we are. All right, we're back on Fantasy Football Wednesday, I guess you could call it, at 8:10 Zone in Leawood. Brian McCrane, I'm Clay Jensen, and Darcy Mullen. Darcy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking.
Sure.
Normally nobody cares, especially Brian, but I appreciate that. Darcy, now, do you want to, Brian, you want to talk with Darcy a little bit, do a little interview? I don't know her as well as you do. Apparently she's smoking all you guys in fantasy football this year.
Well, she's not in our league, but
she's
she
not.
has played in leagues before, and I thought it'd be fun to have a different opinion, have a woman's opinion, have a voice on here, because the nonsense that we talk every week, people probably
That's a
get
good word for it, nonsense.
tired of us. So
Words we can actually say on the
we
air.
can let Darcy tell us a little bit about her history in fantasy football and how she's doing so far this year.
Well, I am.
Now, wait a second. How many teams are you in, Darcy? Because
Only
that means
one.
how good you are, apparently.
Only
No,
one.
Only one, okay.
Which you can tell by my record of 0-3.
Oh.
I have really, really good players, but they are not performing when I have them in. So
Let's go over your roster.
Yeah, who was your number one pick in the draft? And what
my
did you
number,
pick?
I had the number one pick, and I picked Adrian Peterson.
Okay, so he's doing all right.
Yeah, I would like him to do a little better.
Yeah, it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah. My quarterback, I first drafted Russell Wilson, and my top receiver was AJ Green.
Okay.
So we did a snake draft. So when you start number one, you have to wait so long to get that second pick.
Now, how many teams are in your
There are
league?
10.
There are 10. So you
There
get the
are
first
10.
and the 20th pick then?
Yeah, and
Okay.
AJ Green was my second pick.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's solid.
Yeah, and then I have Darren Sproles as another running back.
That's a PPR league or points
What?
per reception league? Do you get a
Yes.
point for every possession? Okay.
Yeah, no, actually, it's for every 10 yards.
So no, you don't get a point for a catch.
Oh, yes,
You do.
for a catch, yes, but
Okay.
for 10 yards.
And 10
for
yards
a
to
run.
get another point then.
Yeah.
Okay. So Darren Sproles he's great. He's
He
a
should be
PPR
getting
monster.
some points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have Jordy Nelson, which obviously I'm going with the K-State theme here.
Going with the what theme?
K-State.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on here.
So I have Jordy, and he's pretty solid, but they're not playing this week, so I had to. I moved Sanders in as my
Manuel
flex.
Sanders.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I have Blair Walsh as my kicker.
He's the goods.
Yeah, and my actual number one defense team that I picked was the Patriots.
Okay.
But I have the Chiefs as my second pick, and I played them last week.
You did, okay.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play them again this week
And
because
I think you should.
You could just drop the.
Yeah.
The Patriots defense is good, but you could probably just drop. If you have Kansas City's defense.
Yeah.
And I listen to podcasts like, well, Kansas City's doing well. I'm like, if you're in leagues around here, it's like you can't get Kansas City's defense because you have Homer. Even if they're good or not, people still have them on their team. It's the same in Minnesota. You know, you can't get the Vikings defense even when they were good.
Right.
So Kansas City, I mean, you're locked up with that.
Yeah.
For me, I don't carry two defenses.
Well, what do you do when
On a bye, I'll pick one
on a
up.
bye?
You
Okay.
just pick
You
one
just
up.
find one and fill it in for that week
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
and hope they do something.
Yeah.
I've known people, and like sometimes, you know, if it's a defense, sometimes you're gonna get points off them, but sometimes you're just like, you know what, let's take a zero then. Unless you
Just
have
don't
Yeah.
kill me.
Yeah, and if you have to fill, a defensive spot, then yeah, you have to. But 1 week.
Yeah, that's
People-
not bad.
And I don't worry
Except
about
for when you're 0-3. That 1 week counts.
Yeah, I mean, do you worry about buys when you draft and stuff? Do you look at that?
I did.
Okay,
I did
don't-
look, but
I don't look at that too much.
I just draft the best
I draft the
available
best,
and
yeah.
figure it out after that, and that's probably why my teams aren't that good.
Well, I mean, if you're drafting, you have a guy, a bunch of guys on bye. Like, who cares? It's 1 week, so you don't finish perfect, but you're going to be good for the rest of the season.
one of the women on our team, her son works for the Green Bay Packers. He's a trainer, and she was picking all these Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers was her first pick, and finally we're like, what are you going to do on bye week? Because you are going to have absolutely no one to play.
So she'll just give up week 4 and move
Yeah,
on.
pretty much. Pretty much.
We have a guy in our league. He drafted pretty much, and it's either going to be a stroke of brilliance or just explode in his face. But he drafted pretty much every single Denver Bronco on his team.
Yeah.
The first week when Manning went crazy for 7 touchdowns, genius. But I can't. And it's looked good so far, but that week 9, I think it is. he'll be running into some trouble there. But yeah, he's got to. It's crazy. And I'm looking at it right now. He's got Peyton Manning, Demaryius Thomas, Wes Welker, Noshawn Moreno, Julius Thomas, the tight end. He's got AJ Green, a non-Bronco, which is great there. And he's got Monty Ball. He's got Eric Decker.
Oh my
The
God.
problem is that, Eric Decker last week, he had a really good game, and, he's on the bench. So
I had him on the bench.
Yeah, it's hard to know. He's
Yeah.
from the University of Minnesota.
Oh, see,
You
I
gotta show
didn't
some
know that.
respect for the U of Minnesota. Come on now. All right, so now who else is on your team? Who's not performing for you?
Well, Eli Manning, who I dropped
Oh.
because I had him last year, and he broke my heart all the time last year. And
you
I
drafted
don't-
him again?
I don't know why. He was the best quarterback left to have as a backup quarterback.
He's not
and
a sexy player, but he gets it done. I mean, he'll throw for usually 4,000 yards, but not,
May not do that this year.
notwithstanding last week. But
well, and the week before, I played Russell Wilson, and Eli had a ton of points. And so I played. I
maddening.
switched it up, and Russell Wilson had a lot of points.
Your
and
hair looks great, though. I don't see any gray there at all. So, I mean, must not be that bad.
I pluck them.
Well, let's have Darcy help us kind of break down some of these other games.
All right, this sounds good. Let's go to some of the other 12 o'clock games. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, I just recently on our little break, I went back and I picked up Ahmad Bradshaw. Richardson eventually is going to be the guy, but Bradshaw, he had a great game last week, so I think they're still going to use him. And I'm not saying it's going to be 50-50 split. Eventually, Richardson, I think, will get most of the work. But against Jacksonville, I think you could probably start both those guys, but surely Bradshaw, I think. The Jaguars, they're the last in the league in rushing defense. They're ranked 32nd. So I think Indianapolis could run that ball. Do you have any of the Colts on your team? Do you have any Colts at all?
I do not.
What do you think of Andrew Luck?
I don't love him.
Other than he's sexy.
I don't really love him.
If you had a chance to go on a date with either Eli Manning or Andrew Luck, would it be?
Eli Manning, because his family is pretty cool.
Now, did you get a chance to watch the
I didn't, but I
Book of
recorded
Manning?
it.
You did.
I did
See,
record it.
Brian?
I didn't record it.
Some people have a
Yeah.
VCR.
I
Some
have
people
whatever
have
that
VCR.
stuff is.
Or a
but-
DVR.
Yeah, DVR.
Whatever you guys
love
are
VCR.
talking
Whatever it's
about. I don't know
called.
what that is.
I just don't use it.
My VCR is not working.
Yeah.
You'll love it. It's,
Yeah, I'm very excited.
It'll be on about 100 times, so I'll catch it.
Well, and I
3 in the morning
yeah.
when I can't sleep, I'll find it.
Yeah.
I was laughing out loud last night. I don't want to give too much away, but they show like the home videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about Eli Manning always being the quiet one, not crying and stuff. They would, like, Cooper and Peyton would, like, just try to make him cry. And, like, there's like one video, they're doing something or whatever, and I think Peyton has Eli. And he just has him, and Eli's like hanging on for his life, and like he's spinning him around and around. I'm like, don't drop the cat! He's gonna drop him. It was like,
Well, that's what siblings are supposed to do. They're supposed to torture the younger one.
My little daughter's like, why are they fighting? I'm like, that's what brothers do. They do that all the time.
Absolutely.
Lucky you don't have a brother. You're the oldest one here, so.
I was the mean one to my brother, so.
Oh, you're the older one, right?
Yes.
Oh, see, I had an older brother and a younger sister, so I was in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister would pick on me, and I'd beat her up, and then she'd get my brother, and he'd start wailing on me.
Good for her.
Yeah, I know. I would know. All right, so Jacksonville. What do you think of them?
I think they're pretty terrible.
They are bad. Like we were saying, they're going to get some people back. Mercedes losing the tight end, and Blackman will come back after this week off of suspension. So they'll get some offensive weapons back.
Gabbard's going to be back.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, is that good?
I think Henny did well for.
Like I said, if you want
they had.
Cecil Short's good. I mean, if you want some garbage time points, like you're not gonna be watching the first 3 quarters of this game. Tune in later on, and you'll see a little bump in your fantasy players if you have any of these guys. You're like, oh yeah, he just ripped out. He got 100 yards in like the last 6 minutes. So, yeah, start your Colts in this one. Bench your Jaguars, especially after what they did to San Francisco.
I agree.
That's some things that are surprising.
That was so surprising.
It's like the Colts are like not the greatest defensive. I mean, they're not as good as Seattle, and you thought that San Fran would be able to put some points up there.
This would be a telling week
Had a
for
good
the
game.
Niners because if it's 3 weeks in a row,
They have to go back to the read option.
Right.
They have to go back to that. What I don't know. I don't know why teams they try to get too cute. It's like you have Kaepernick who ran for like 190 yards against Green Bay in the playoffs. Why you go away from that, I don't understand. And it's not like he's like Michael Vick fragile.
and He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Let the guy run and let him. He's bigger than some of those linemen.
And he looks tough.
And he's got tattoos.
He does.
He's hardcore. All right, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks and the Houston Texans. Texans only put 9 points up on the board last week.
Very disappointing.
Very shocking.
Johnson was not a factor.
Yeah, he was in, and there was like, oh yay, I got Andre Johnson, and then he goes out with a shin injury.
And he's on my team.
And he's hobbled now.
It was between Santonio Holmes and Andre Johnson last week, and I'm like, Santonio ain't gonna do anything. I got a better chance, and what happens?
Oh, it was a story of my life last week. I'm glad I'm not the only one in the boat. I mean, I probably would. I did the worst, leaving all those points in the bench. But Andre Johnson, I don't know if he's going to play. He should. I mean, he's kind of tough. That's something about Andre Johnson's. Like, I liked him when he first came out. He always gets the receptions. He doesn't get you touchdowns. But PPR leagues, he's great, but he's always injured.
He gets beat up.
Always injured. Yeah.
And this is his 11th year now?
10th or 11th year.
Yeah, 10th or 11th year, because I think he was on that 2001 Miami National Championship team, and I think he came out after that. So, so going on his 12th or 13th year.
Arian Foster and Ben Tate.
I don't like the sharing thing there.
Well, you an Arian Foster order?
No, I don't have either of them, but I wouldn't like it because both of them get nothing.
I got Ben Tate. I'm just hanging on to him because Arian Foster, he's not Arian Foster. And later on during the season, he might become that. But right now, you can tell the cap is still kind of bothering him. Ben Tate's still going to get some work. And Ben Tate, frankly, has run better. But he's not... he's not the big name, I guess. But they are giving him work, which is good. So
I take it you have no Texans on your team?
I do not. Last year I had Owen Daniels, and he is the one that made me lose the first week. He was on the team I played against, and
that sucks.
Yes, just sitting there watching my lead dwindle, and then it take over. It was extremely annoying.
You ever do that? It's like you draft like Doug Martin. You had him like his last year, and last year you had him, and somebody else has him on their roster this year, and they beat you with him. It's like, that's my guy. I found him first. You don't deserve him.
Exactly.
He was on my team. He'd be scoring 5 touchdowns a game. All right. Anything else with the Houston Texans, Seattle Seahawks? It's in Houston. I guess it gives them a fighting chance. If it was in Seattle, I would say bench you're not starting anybody. Rule of thumb: if Houston's, if Seattle's away, I guess you could start some of the players. I guess, but if they're in Seattle, I don't care who. You know what?
That 12th man makes a difference.
I'm telling you, and I'm going to be out there in November. My dad lives out there now, so we're going to go see the Minnesota Vikings walk all over Seattle. No.
When's the last time they lost a home game?
What's that?
They haven't lost a home game in
They didn't lose
year
any
and a half.
last year, I don't think. Yeah, and not this year. I don't think they lost one last year.
Right around 13, somewhere
they
right
lost
around there.
What game did they?
Well, probably in the playoffs, but not regular season games. I don't think
regular season they haven't lost in a while.
It's from what I heard, 130 some decibels, which is 130 decibels is the sound of a shotgun. Mm-hmm. Imagine that going off. My dad says bring ear protection. I'm like, yeah, I think I will. Seattle, Marshawn Lynch, I think will be a decent play. Texans are really good. Marshawn Lynch though. You give him some Skittles and the guy goes crazy. He's all hopped up on sugar or something like that. Like those little.
But he'll have his 25 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah. Houston's very good at 7th against the rush, 2nd against the pass. So kind of temper expectations. If you're expecting 180 yards and 3 touchdowns from Lynch, it's probably not going to happen in this one. Anything else in that game?
Not really.
No.
Two good defensive teams, 2 good offensive teams. So one will win out. I think it's going to be Seattle, though.
I think it'll be like a 20-17 game.
Yeah, it's not going to be really high scoring, but I think there'll be some points because they all got some good key weapons up there. All right, the mighty New York Jets taking on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Geno Smith.
I'm going to play Santonio Holmes this week.
Yeah. Titans are 7th against the pass, though.
Well, I have no choice. I have all the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They're on vacation.
Taking the day off. Geno Smith, he seems to be all right. It might be if he's available, a good pickup for you. If you have Rodgers or if you have Cam Newton, he might be a good pickup. Geno Smith, he seems to be doing pretty good. Texans do give up 29th against the run. So I think there'll be a little room to run for him. And also for Bilal Powell. for the New York Jets. Chris Ivory, he's questionable. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, they saw Bilal Powell go crazy last week, and I think they'll say, you know what, take the day off there, Ivory. Go visit Cam Newton in Carolina and take some time off there. Your receivers, I get you Santonio Holmes and who's the other guy? I'm blanking. Hill, Stephen Hill. He had a good night. He had a pretty good game too. I think out of the two though.
If you have Holmes, I would. People were waiting to see health-wise.
I think he's good. I mean, he made some nice leaps up there.
Yeah, he looked like he was healthy.
Like he was playing back in Pittsburgh.
No, he hadn't played like that in years, but it was nice to see him break off a long touchdown run or touchdown reception last week. It just wasn't nice that he was on my bench.
Yeah, that does hurt. So Tennessee Titans had a pretty good game from Washington. I wouldn't expect too much of them. Jets ranked third against the pass. And I heard
think people were waiting for Johnson and Britt to do something.
Britt is pouting. He's just
he's going to be gone.
He's already talking about, like, on Twitter, I guess he was saying, like, nice meeting you, I'm done here. And, like, dude, it's like after the second game. And putting that, I'm like,
there's a lot of weeks left.
He's a great talent, but, God, he's just got an attitude on him. So, the stat I heard from Washington, after he had, like, a 100-yard game, like, he averaged, I think, 50-some yards the next week on average. So...
So nobody on those teams for you?
No.
So not of interest to you?
Neither of those.
No Jets,
right.
no Titans.
Jets, no Titans.
How about the Eagles and the Broncos? This one actually looks to be a good game. Offensively, of course, we said that with them playing Kansas City.
It'll be good on one side offensively because
Yep.
anybody that can touch the ball with Denver, start
Peyton
them.
Manning is going to eat them alive.
I agree.
Oh, my. It's going to be a bloodbath.
When's he going to have a bad game and only throw like 3 touchdowns and 400 yards?
I think he'll at least have 4 touchdowns in this game. At least 4 touchdowns. Minimum.
I had a 35-point lead in my game. They had Manning starting, and I got scared Monday. I ended up winning by 3 points.
You want my 3?
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
Wow. That's pretty good. The Eagles are ranked 30th against the pass. They can't stop
they're going to be
anybody.
killed.
Jacksonville and Washington are the only 2 teams that are worse against the pass than Philadelphia. So
the third string guys on
Yeah, you
Denver,
might see-
put them in there.
yeah, for Denver, you might see the running back by. You think it was going to be Noshawn Moreno? He's the best pass blocker out there. Ball still can't hang on to the ball.
What they have 4?
Basically.
They have 4 running backs that
For Denver,
got touchdowns.
Noshawn Moreno, he scored 2 a week ago, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Monty Ball, he's fumbling all the time. Hillman scored last week. They're talking about there's some kind of rock, paper, scissors, who is going to go and get the top. I'm like, that's the NFL. Nobody's doing that. Come on now. But
Against the Raiders, they may.
oh yeah, Peyton Manning, he'll go. You might actually see Brock Osweiler. Pick him up. Pick him up and start him
This week.
with confidence. Peyton Manning, he'll go like 5 touchdowns and he'll sit out he'll probably be out of that game at like midway through the third quarter.
I was surprised they played him as long as they did, and he got sacked and fumbled later in the game.
Yeah, he got hit pretty good.
He got hit pretty good, yeah. And I was hoping, this is a bad thing too about fantasy football sometimes. When you see a guy go down and he's playing against your team, you're like, stay down.
Yeah.
And I was like,
LaShawn McCoy, stay down. Don't get up.
Don't get
up. I'm up by 3 points.
have a concussion.
And then he comes, yeah.
And you're like, what am I saying?
Yeah, like LaShawn McCoy, he was injured that game, and then he oh my gosh, he's down, he's not getting up. They go to break and stuff like that. Then he's walking, he's on the sideline, he's up. Oh god, maybe they'll just keep him out. Then he comes and rips off like a 50-yard touchdown, and it's like, no, why?
So we have a lot of losses combined.
Yeah.
I'm 1-2 in both my leagues. I won the first week on both of them. Stupid Antonio Brown, that he caught a ball and they called a tripping penalty. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
This phantom trip that costed me 4 points. It was a catch in 30-some yards, and I lost by 2 points.
So you're going to blame it on that?
Stupid refs. Dumb kickers, stupid refs. I hate them. Can't stand them. For the Eagles side of the ball, I think you got to start McCoy. I mean, the offense is too deadly to not start these guys. They have the tools to do it. And Chip Kelly's
They were
offense.
moving the ball well against the Chiefs.
Yeah, the turnovers just killed. I mean, you couldn't really see that coming. Yeah, I thought, and that's why I thought that, I played Dwayne Bowe because I thought the Eagles might get up a little bit with that offense, but the turnovers, it was like, once the Chiefs were up, it's like they're not going to throw them. They're just going to run the ball. So you got to start McCoy, you got to start Deshaun Jackson, Vic, and Selleck, I guess, for tight end. If you have some bye week issues, but all your Broncos, you're putting them in. Eagles are pretty tough against the run, but people just throw on them, so I guess they don't really need to run too much. But they're second in the league against the run, Philadelphia. So, but I think you're going to see the three-headed monster, unfortunately, with no Sean Moreno and Ball and also Hillman. So, all right, the Redskins and Raiders.
That sounds miserable.
Why don't you guys take this one?
There's not much to say about that.
I'll give you about 25 seconds here.
Okay, RG3 not playing well,
No.
but he is getting points, depending on what league you're in, because they've been behind so much that he's. You look at his numbers; they're not bad, but
He gets better as the game goes on.
his first halves have been terrible. It's almost like that knee has to warm up. Morris has done a good job with the running back with the Redskins. Pardon me?
With what he's had.
Yeah,
They're not
what he's
running
had.
him as much as they did last year, and you expected them to run him a lot more. Where you drafted him this year,
I
you
drafted
expected
him
a lot
high.
more production out. Yeah, of course, everybody did. And you expected more production. He just hasn't gotten it yet.
And the receivers, it's kind of been spread out between Moss, Garcon, and
Garrison,
yeah. So they Hankerson. He had the touchdown, I think, in week 1, but he hadn't got in the end zone since then.
how is Santana Moss still playing? I love
As small as he is,
I love that guy.
He's got to be almost 13 years in the league too. Him and Andre Johnson were on that same team.
Yeah, he was,
played together.
He's great. I love Santana Moss.
I just think the Redskins, they're going to. RG3 is going to get points late, but he may also throw 3 or 4 interceptions. So I don't know if if you have another option that's more consistent, I would start him. But that's a tough call there because I've started him 2 weeks and he's killed me.
The knee and the brace, I think, are still just being an issue. He's not free, and you can tell he's timid because he's not the RG3 that you saw last year, running around willy-nilly, footloose and fancy-free, if you will. One tight end you might want to look at, Jordan Reed. He's hasn't really done too much, but they're expecting him to really start producing later on in the year, and they might think that he's actually might be the leading tight end for Washington. If you.
So that may be a pickup if you need a tight end for a week and see what happens.
Yeah, and like I said, he's still questionable to play in this game, but like later on in the year, just keep an eye on Jordan Reed. He might be a good pickup there. That's pretty much it for Washington. Anything for the Raiders? Terrell Pryor may not play.
Streeter.
If he does play, he's a great play. Washington, they rank 32nd against the pass, so not that Oakland has a lot of weapons on offense to throw to, but
Throw to Streeter.
Yeah, Streeter be good on Denarius Moore. Be a good play this week. Washington, you think, would be able to get some points on Oakland. Oakland Raiders, their defense middle of the road for both run and pass defense, but you'd think if the Redskins could get some points on the board, that would force Oakland to start passing.
We spent more than 20 seconds on this game.
Yeah, I know.
Way more.
We had 25 seconds. I think we're just wrapping up. So I think Moore would be a good play. But other than that, I don't think it would start anybody else. Darren McFadden.
No.
Hey, come on now. He threw. Did you see that arm? He threw a touchdown.
Yes, he did.
Cannon.
And in some of those leagues where you get a bonus point because he was 100% or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
So you're in way too many leagues. Do you have one of those? Do you have one of those?
We used to be in one where, and we had to amend the rules for guys like that. Yes.
Oh, come on now. That'd be great.
No, don't. No, we could be here all day on that. Let's move on.
All right, the Cowboys taking on the Chargers in San Diego, which is German for
San Diego.
Yes, yes. A whale's private parts. Cowboys, Chargers. Who do you like in this one, Darcy?
I like the Cowboys. I've Witten, so I hope they pass to him as much as possible.
I had him last year, and he was muy bueno in my PPR league. Muy bueno. He's got I think he's he hasn't matched his touchdown total from last year, but he had like 2 in that one game. I was like, oh my gosh, now he's catching touchdowns. Like last year, you got him, he was just a PPR monster, he's catching everything, but wasn't really generating touchdowns. Now they're actually looking for him in the end zone.
I think he demanded that he get the ball more in the red zone.
A little Keyshawn Johnson?
Yes.
Keyshawn,
he just said it a little bit more subtly than throw me the ball.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Jason Witten on Dancing with the Stars anytime. By the way, Darcy, do you watch Dancing with the Stars?
I do not.
Oh my God.
I watch a lot of other reality TV, just not Dancing with the Stars.
What's your favorite guilty reality TV show?
I love The Amazing Race.
You do? I used to watch that one all the time.
And Chris Getz's wife is on there this year, so it'll be exciting.
Brian's over there. It's like
I don't watch that either.
I don't know what you guys are talking about over there. DeMarco Murray looking very good, getting a lot of passes out of the backfield. So PPRs, he's if he can stay healthy, could finish as a top 8.
They've done a good job.
Top 8 running back this year if he
Get
stays
him the
healthy.
ball.
Big if though. Tony Romo, rib injury, he'll play of course. The questionable one is Miles Austin with his hammy.
I'd stay away from Miles Austin this week.
Yeah, you can't. Des Bryant and Witten and Murray and Romo, I think, are the only ones you actually play. Miles Austin, you're not going to know until like it's a 3:00 game, so you're gonna have to.
If you have some other options, he may be a guy like Charles or like Andre Johnson, where he may play, but he might not be effective. If you have other options, I might stay away from those guys.
This is going to be a 3:25 start, so I mean, unless you have like another Redskin, a Raider, maybe a Patriot or Falcon, I guess you could plug in Atlanta's Harry Douglas, I guess he was available. But if you have Austin, you had no other options, you might want to go that route. But yeah, stay away from Miles Austin. I think Witten's going to get a lot of work. A lot of work this week.
I hope so. I need him to win.
Phillip Rivers, I think he's like the 5th ranked quarterback. The 3rd or the 5th ranked quarterback in fantasy right now.
He's having a great year.
It's amazing.
I never would have put him that high. Never.
I don't know if it's all garbage time. I haven't really watched too many San Diego games. I know Gates is doing a little something. He's not like what he was in his prime, but you might see a little bit of something from them. The Cowboys, they're middle of the tier for defense as well, 13th against the pass. So temper expectations for Phillip Rivers, but there are. I mean, I could see worse options out there if you need to plug and play. If you had Rodgers out there or Cam Newton on a bye, you might want to look at Phillip Rivers and hope for the best. Cowboys, they could just get up. Chargers are ranked 31st against the pass, so you should see a lot of big points scored from Dallas early on, and this is going to be the Phillip Rivers garbage time show to his tight end Antonio Gates and possibly to Royal as well. He might get some more touchdowns here. Vincent Brown, he's not back. I mean, he might come back. He's going to play, I guess, but he hasn't really done too much yet for the Chargers. Anything else on this one? Woodhead, he's pretty good.
He'll get.
If it's a PPR league, I think you could use Woodhead, but other than that,
Gates, no.
Ryan Matthews he's better than what he was last year. Granted, the fact that he is probably playing more games.
He's a good backup.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be a flex option in this case. I think Woodhead's actually the better technical running back over Ryan Matthews. Final game. Is it the final game? No, we got 2 more games. We got the Sunday night game. Before the season started, I think it was good, but now it's just like New England Patriots are at the Atlanta Falcons.
I think this is a good matchup. I think the Patriots have found their stride.
If anybody's going to be able to have a sucky team and still compete, I think it's the Patriots.
But they're not. I think they're
it's
pretty
Tom
good.
Brady. They're not great. They're not.
They're not great.
They're not what you expect. I mean,
but last week did change my mind as far as what they can do offensively.
From what you saw in the past, when Brady's throwing 50 touchdowns and Randy Moss,
that ain't going to happen anymore.
Yeah, you don't have the weapons. Gronkowski might make a return to this game.
But the young receivers have done a good job.
Yeah, for the most part. This last game they did.
Right.
Before that, like Dobson, he was like, dropping everything. Edelman was like the only good play. Danny Amendola, he was saying he like tore all these muscles, adductors, I think, from his hip. But he's saying now that he plans to be 100% shortly. That was the quote he used.
Someday.
I don't know what shortly is. Yeah, someday, one of these days, something like that. So
I would stay away from him this week.
Yeah, you can't really
Do you
play.
have any Patriots?
Just the defense, which is going to be on the bench.
Exactly. Danny Amendola, you know what you got into when you drafted this guy. Granted, yeah, we all knew he was going to be taking the place of Wes Welker, getting all the catches in the PPR league, but you also had to know that this was going to be coming. Injury bug hitting this guy all the time. So I don't think they put him out there. He's Danny Amendola. He's going to get injured. He's always, if he's not 100% healthy, like they sit him down and don't give him any work until he is like completely 100%. The guy's a stud. I mean, he'll play through whatever. He'll play with injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him.
I don't think you will either. And so I would just, even if he is, and you're not going to know because this is a night game. So you're not going to have really anybody else. Same with Gronkowski. So temper expectations on both those guys, and wait until a week from today, this Sunday, when they will be playing the backfield. This will be a game where I do have Stephen Ridley. I played him the first 2 weeks. He has done nothing. I think last week I put him as a flex. I now am just probably going to bench him, and this will be the week that he goes off for 2 touchdowns, 130 yards or something like that.
So play him.
I got some
Would
better.
you?
Yeah, I would play him this week.
You don't have Ridley though. You
No,
have
I
been
don't.
suffering what I've been suffering through. It's the same. It's like, you have a guy.
But now the offenses seem like they got it.
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's mark this down though. You're not going to play him, and he will do well. So next week.
I'm saying I won't play him, and he will do well.
Right, that's what I mean. You're not going to play him. He's going to do well. So we'll just write that down.
It's so hard. I mean, you can't really trust him. And now they have. They also it's back to like the three-headed monster they have. I mean, look, granted, LeGarrette Blount, he was in there for garbage time last week playing against his old team, Tampa Bay. That's what that is. But Brandon Bolden, he's like the Shane Vereen now. He's like the change of pace back, the third down back now. So unless Stephen Ridley, I chalked it up mostly to like the kind of the game was out of hand. So why play Ridley? Just let LeGarrette Blount be out there and run, But if the game's close, which it should be, New England's not the greatest defense. They have improved since last year. But Atlanta, Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, Jacquizz Rodgers, they can all, Matt Ryan, Matty Ice Ryan, they can all put up points. So I think this will be a high-scoring game. I think Ridley, I might play him. I got to take a look at my lineup, and this is my.
You got to think about it.
This is my non-jelly bean league, so this is the one I kind of like. Yeah, whatever. Throw a little caution in the wind. It's not really for anything too much, but my other league, if I had them, I don't know. I think I'd probably be playing somebody else. I have C.J. Spiller and Matt Forte as well as No Shot Moreno. So temper expectations in that one. It's kind of ugly now. It's what you didn't want to happen, but did happen with the backfield for New England. So. Hopefully somebody will go down with an injury. I always had this little thought in my head, like I was, going against a guy in fantasy football, and I was like, okay, send the sniper in from the top of the stadium and just like ping somebody in the leg and just what movie was that? Was guy came out with a gun, he was like running and Last Boy Scout. You ever see that?
But that wasn't the sniper. That was the running.
No, just shooting people.
He wasn't shooting people in the leg either.
Oh, it was such a good movie. I love it. All right, final game. It's a Monday night game. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Saints.
Daniel Thomas.
Should we have a little wager here? Who's going to have a better night? Fantasy-wise?
Let's say fantasy-wise. Between Daniel Thomas and Lamar Miller.
Saints have the 6th best run defense and the 4th against the pass. If you have the Saints defense, I think you're looking good, and if they're still available. Like last year, they were atrocious. They were horrible. So I think a lot of people went into that this year thinking they were going to do that good, and they actually have turned things around for the defense. So, all right, Lamar Miller and Thomas.
Darcy, who do you think is going to do better in fantasy-wise?
Probably Thomas.
So we have 2 Thomas to 1 Miller.
Jim? Jim's just back there. He doesn't care. That's all right. Now, are we talking a standard league here, not a touchdown heavy
Whatever league you want to make it.
Now, what are you playing? Do you play in a touchdown heavy league?
No,
You play in a standard league.
A standard league.
You don't get like 9 million points for touchdowns and
No,
nothing.
you get 6 for a touchdown.
You get 6 for a touchdown, but you get stuff for yardage too, right?
Yeah, but for every 10 yards.
For every 10,
not-
every 25, which is standard.
Yeah.
Now, do you get points for yardage?
Yeah, we do that too.
So how is it a touchdown heavy league? What do your quarterbacks get when they throw a touchdown?
They get, I think, 7 or whatever. Depends on
6?
the percentage too.
So
but if Daniel Thomas has 10 rushing yards or 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown,
that's a good game.
That's a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Lamar Miller has 15 carries for 70 yards and no touchdowns, he gets less points than Daniel Thomas because Thomas found the end zone. There's a premium on getting in the end zone.
There, of course, is, but you can't count touchdowns. You can't count on touchdowns to happen, though.
With Daniel Thomas, they're only going to give him the ball in certain situations, so I can count on touchdown. If he's getting the ball, more times than not, it's going to be in the red zone.
If we're talking Jerome Bettis back when he's playing for the Steelers and whoever else they had at the time.
Well, we've debated this and beat this over. We'll see what happens with Daniel Thomas and Lamar Miller.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right.
That'll be our ongoing weekly.
Thomas Miller is actually leading right now for Miami. He's got 32 carries, 132 yards, and a touchdown.
But who would be leading in points?
I don't know. I'll look that one up, and maybe we can. I'll post it on our Facebook page on 810 WHB TV, the Facebook page, and we'll see it. We should have a little wager.
That's our wager. Then going back to with the Dolphins, surprising offense. Wallace finally got the ball last couple of weeks. They're throwing him the ball a little bit more. Tannehill has been a guy that I thought should be on the bench. And
he has 4 touchdowns this year already.
He's played well, and that's a surprising offense. Hartline has done a good job. So there's 4 or 5 choices there with the Dolphins that I think that would be a good solid pick for you to put in your lineup.
And also their tight end, Clay. I don't know why I want to call him Cassius Clay, but that's the only Clay that's coming to mind other than myself. But Charles Clay, he was a decent pickup last week. Didn't do too much previous, but he's always a chance to score there as well. The Saints are starting all of them. I don't care if they're going up against the best defense. I think New Orleans plays Seattle at some time this season, I believe. Yes. Week 13. New Orleans are
in Seattle.
At Seattle.
They'll lose.
I think Seattle's going to take it. They'll take it. It'll be fun to watch, though. I want to see like a really high octane offense going up against a really good defense. So, if it was in New Orleans, it might be a different story. But in Seattle, it'll be fun to watch, anyways. All right, Darcy, you got anything else you want to make mention here?
No.
How long have you been playing fantasy football for?
3 years.
3 years. All right. And do you love it?
I do. Obsessed.
She studies and
yeah.
Looking at that
does
camera
her
right
homework.
now. Looking at that camera right now, and tell my wife of 13 years how she needs to start watching more football.
You need to start watching more football.
And enjoying it and get into a league and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It makes every game important.
Yeah, I want to try to get like a family league going on. But so far, it's like I'm in the minority here.
Yeah.
So,
got to make it fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little trash talk between family members over Thanksgiving. What's wrong with that? Everybody
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yes, instead of yelling at each other, a little trash talking. Yeah, I don't know if
they'd win. They'd beat me this rate.
She'll be cheering for Dad. That's right. She's gonna be on Dad's team. All right, we got anything else?
No, I don't think so. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you for having me. I
scare you too
appreciate
much.
it. No, not too much.
Stop by anytime.
All right.
All right. This is Clay Jensen, Brian McCray, and Darcy Mullen from 810 Zone in Leawood, Kansas. Check us out at 810WHBTV.com. And you can check this whole, at least most of it, I think. We might have missed the first part of it, but hey, technical issues happen sometimes. And if you have any questions, you can send them on Facebook, 810 WHB TV on Facebook. Send us some questions, and we'll answer them. We thank you for joining us. We thank you, 810 Zone, for having us. This is Clay Jensen signing off for this week. We'll be back next week with more bowl predictions, more trash talking, and more of how much we despise Daniel Thomas. Thanks for joining us, everybody.